Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Dr. Mashazi. Yesterday, just to reorientate us, when we parted, we had gone as far as question 8. And we had actually concluded on issues pertaining to that particular question. Now, this morning, your attorneys brought to my attention and shared with us a video you would like to be played for the commissioners, which you believe is relevant to the issues that we have discussed thus far relating to Mr. Chief of Police, Mr. Mapieye. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because we are ready to move on to the next topic, perhaps this might be an appropriate time to deal with that issue. Play the video, and then you can address the commissioners as you find appropriate, and then we can have our engagement flowing therefrom. If you could just give us a second to sort out our technical issues, we'll play the video. But I suppose in the meantime, I should invite you to place this clip we're about to watch in its proper context, firstly, and secondly, to explain to the commissioners why you believe it's relevant to the conversation we have had thus far. Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners, ladies and gentlemen who are in attendance. The importance of playing that video. Yesterday, I made a statement that Chief of Police is involved, like it was in my opening remarks, that in the process of defeating the end of justice.
Okay, I think if then I may just guide you so that we can follow.
Okay, it was under my...
Is that what you deal with at paragraph 50, and in particular 50.2 at page 9 of your statement?
Let me confirm.
Okay, yes.
Yes, 50.2.
Okay.
Yeah. Here I spoke about 2 accidents in which the Chief of Police was involved in and under the influence of alcohol, and nothing seems to have actually happened to him. So the video will demonstrate that indeed there was also a protest from many members of the Metro Police, and the video will also demonstrate that the department has a lot of issues. And the video will also demonstrate how Chief was protected from being investigated on this one. Thank you.
I think we should be about ready. So the video will start now. It's got 1 minute and 8 seconds on the clock. So Dr. Mashazi, we will allow to run. My apologies. We're ready to run the video. It has on the clock 1 minute, 28 seconds. I propose that we allow it to run to the end. And then I'll invite you to speak to it. Then we'll take some questions. Is that in order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Protest in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. These Ekurhuleni law enforcers adamant that they must be heard. Officers accuse their managers of protecting the Chief of Police, who they claim was involved in 2 drunk driving car crashes.
We're going to demand the suspension of Mr. Mapieye because he was involved in an accident, and then there should be an investigation conducted, and then he should be subjected to a disciplinary hearing. That is the first issue. The second issue is that our members in the VIP protection, they get the allowance of 40,000 each member on top of their salaries, that which amounts them to 880,000 per annum. So we want to know the name of the allowance, because on the allowance issue, there should be a central bargaining committee whereby there's SALGA, organized labor, then name of the allowance. If they agree, then it should be brought into a collective agreement.
The city says it will investigate the issues raised in the memorandum.
We have got a process, an administrative process in the city, which will see this memorandum be written there. Every issue shall then detailed look into, and a response will be given. Look, all allegations that are brought forward, they are only there to be investigated and investigated thorough.
Matlako Komani, SABC News, Germiston.
Thank you. That is the totality of the clip you wanted shown.
Correct.
Okay, you gave a preliminary remarks before we played it. Now that it's been played, is there anything you'd like to add before we engage on what appears there?
Thank you. The person who is taking the memorandum and who spoke there, he was the political head responsible for EMPD. They are called members of the mayoral committee, responsible for different portfolios. By then, he was in charge of EMPD.
Okay. Now, my take, and I may have missed one or two things from the clip, is that the grievances by members of the EMPD related to Chief Mapie's driving incidents or accidents for which they contend he was not brought to book for. And the second relates to the allowance, what they call an allowance issue. Now, we are more or less familiar with the first. Are you able to shed light on what the second entailed?
The second entails the members of the VIP, where their structure was actually created and they were appointed on a different scale.
Are you able to speak to that latter point?
To that?
Are you able to speak to that precisely that VIP allowance point?
Well, for me, it's an operational issue because VIP protectors, they are at which level? Like constable level. Okay. So the details, we can request the details from the municipality and share the details with you.
Okay. Then let's get back to the other issue.
Can I just confirm something,
yes.
Advocate Silo? Good morning, Dr. Mashazi.
Morning, Commissioner.
Just looking at the graphics here, it looks like this is June 2020.
Yes, sir. Yes, Commissioner.
And I go back to my point yesterday that he reported to you as Chief of Police. It was your responsibility to discipline him, correct?
Correct.
And 2 years later, when his contract, his 5-year contract came to an end, it was you who recommended that he be given another 5-year contract as Chief of Police.
Can I explain? Yes, in terms of appointment of senior managers, yes, I sit in the panel. But in the panel, we have 3 politicians. We had 3 politicians sitting with me. So it's a recommendation of the panel. Maybe I came across of saying he was recommended by the panel. It's myself, 3 members, which are politicians and which the Minister of Culture has an issue with, and there's also external expert. So we are 5, and we're 5 when the Chief of Police was appointed.
It was during that interview,
yes,
where you had the opportunity to confront him about the allegations of sexual abuse, his failure to promote female officers within EMPD, and all these drunk driving incidents. Instead, you being part of that panel, the interview panel, you recommended that he be given another 5-year contract as Chief of Police.
Thanks. Let me explain about this incident, the 2 accidents. The memorandum was taken there by a politician, and the memorandum was never given to the accounting officer, where they were detailing their issues. And remember, if you want to as I explained yesterday, Commissioner, if you want to discipline an official or a senior manager, the regulations or guidelines stipulated that you should have something in writing, a complaint in writing, that this person has done this, 1, 2, 3, and you need to investigate. While investigating, you put that person on precautionary suspension, but through the approval of council. I can't just do it as an individual or as an accounting officer, because he was appointed as Section 56, he reports to council. And I indicated yesterday that my hands were very tight because he's been protected politically throughout. If the MMC took the memorandum and he decided not to submit it to me, as he indicated that he's going to submit it to the administration to do proper investigation, so forth and so forth, my hands are tight, and my hands were tight then.
Let me ask this directly, and it flows from what my colleague Commissioner Khumalo has asked. Did you, at the interviews for the extension, did you specifically raise the issues that Commissioner Khumalo is referring to? Sexual harassment, improper sexual relationships, rapes, fathering many children, with junior officers. Did you specifically raise those issues at the interview?
I raised few issues. I don't recall which ones I raised, but obviously, if you raise issues like they would say to you, or they said, well, the Chief of Police is, we don't have evidence of what you are saying, and this has been the practice. But I was a bit reluctant because I've been working in the department, working in the city, and I know exactly what was happening. Like I said, we are three. And as a female, you want to advocate that females are being harassed in the department, sexually harassed in the department, and you are sitting with 4 males. You are sitting with 4 males. As an accounting officer, yes, I did raise issues, Commissioner.
You say you did raise issues, but you don't remember what you raised. These issues aren't the normal run-of-the-mill cases. These were very serious issues. Sexual harassment, rape, and the others that have been mentioned. In fact, that you have mentioned. Those are serious issues. There is no way you would not remember if you specifically raised them at the interview. Did you?
I'm saying I raised the issue of sexual harassment of female, the allegations. That's what I raised. But I don't remember other issues that I raised. Whether I raised the issue of the accident, because the memorandum was never brought to my attention.
And why would you have singled out sexual harassment if there were even allegations, according to you, allegations of rape? Why would you have singled out sexual harassment?
The rape is a new case that was actually brought to the attention of the city now during the sexual harassment case of the victim.
Just repeat, I didn't quite get the point you were making about you are one woman and there are 3 men. You said something about being able to raise issues of this nature in that context. I didn't quite get the point you were making. Can you please articulate that point more clearly?
I have raised the issue that I have concern that these things are happening in the department.
Just repeat, please.
I have raised a point about sexual harassment allegations within the department, and Chief being one of them. But the other issues that I raised there, to be honest, but I do not recall, but definitely I did raise the issue.
Do matters like those get recorded somewhere? Would there be a record of what you raised at those interviews somewhere within the municipality?
Well, the interviews are not recorded. We write down about the scoring and how the interview they are actually performing. That is the purpose of the interview. But there's no space where
Is that good governance, though? Because there's a lot of issues usually arise out of what took place at interviews. Is it good governance not to record? And one example of the sort of issues that do arise is, for example, litigation around who was appointed and who was not appointed. Is it good governance not to record?
It's not.
And why under your administration wasn't there recording if you accept that it's not good governance not to?
Interviewing processes are run by HR department. They bring the files to us, and the forms are actually structured in such a manner that we only record the process and the response of the candidates that are being interviewed.
Yes.
But there is no space where you can write your objection as a member of the panel.
When you say you get what comes from HR, it sounds to me like you're saying it's HR's fault. And if my understanding is correct, you are the head, you are the administrative head, the executive head, in fact. So you can correct what HR is doing wrong, can't you? So
I take your point, Commissioner.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mashazi, this video is in 2020. Is that correct, or is it recent?
Commissioner.
I beg your pardon?
Correct.
Yes. And when you do the interview in 2022, you are aware of this incident or these complaints?
Correct, Commissioner.
And did you raise them in the panel with Chief Mabie?
This particular one, I do not recall.
You don't recall whether you raised it?
Yeah, I don't recall. I only recall the sexual harassment one.
You raised the sexual harassment in that interview?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you record your concerns in your form that you complete?
I didn't.
You did not?
Yes.
So as matters stand, the appointing authority, which is council, doesn't know that you raised this issue in the panel because you didn't write it down?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. Did you dissent in the panel because you're saying it's a panel appointment. Did you dissent from the majority decision in the panel? And before you answer, I would like to propose to you that and I can put this to you, that experience is that people do record in their panels, in their panel discussion, they do record concerns about candidates. Did you record your dissension from the decision to recommend him?
I didn't.
You did not. So council never came to know that you are unhappy that he be appointed to the position because of the allegations that you are now making before us. Council never came to know about it.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's not council's fault that chief got to be appointed in 2022 for another 5 years.
Correct.
You can't blame councillors for that.
Correct.
All right, thank you. And you say that you could not discipline him as his superior because there was no complaint. But you are aware of these allegations of motor vehicle destruction, drinking or driving under the influence of alcohol. You are aware of this video where these allegations are being made against him. Why did you not lodge a complaint as his superior, a written complaint against him? You know the facts. You know the facts. You know they are disciplinable facts, and they include destruction of council property, according to you. Why did you not lay a complaint in writing?
In writing to?
To the council.
To the council.
Unless you're telling us that he's not disciplinable because he's head of police and you are his manager. Unless you're telling us that, which is not what you said. You said the authority lies with council. You couldn't initiate without council approval. So these allegations must land before the council for the council to authorize, right, an investigation and disciplinary action. You say to us you couldn't, there was nothing, there was no written complaint, but only you could lay a complaint because you're his superior and you know these allegations against him. Why did you not lay a complaint?
Correct, I did not lay the complaint. Remember, I've explained that that memorandum from the MMC did not reach my office. And this video, I just got it like last night, because people could see that I'm struggling I don't have information, I don't have evidence. I just got it last night. That's why we submitted this morning to the commission.
No, it can be. You were city manager in 2020 already. You were city manager. Correct. There's a very public protest, as we see in this video. Mm-hmm. So you know that there's allegations that he's destroyed company property. You know that. You know that there's allegations that he drove under the influence, a motor vehicle of the council. So you know that in 2020 as city manager. So it's not video dependent. It is fact. What do you know in 2020? You've just confirmed. You were aware of this in 2020, of this conduct. Mm-hmm. My question is, why did you not lay a complaint? Because your answer is, I couldn't discipline him because there was no written complaint. But you're the city manager, he's superior. Why did you not lay a complaint?
Let me concede that I failed to discipline the chief of police and I failed to do an oversight on him as an HOD.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Commissioner. Perhaps the logical place to start would be to tag onto what the commissioners have raised. And my first question, and I think you touched on it slightly, I think in response to Commissioner Baloyi's question, what exactly was the purpose of you sharing this particular clip with the video? What were you intending to achieve?
It was to support my evidence on 50.2 that he has indeed defeated the ends of justice.
Okay,
and I have summarized by saying I failed to take action against him and I also failed to do proper oversight over him.
Now, you I think in the course of one of your responses indicated that he was politically protected, and I think you spoke of this particular incident as to why he was not dealt with, and you explained it away by saying he was politically protected. Did I understand you correctly?
Correct.
What does that mean? And what is the effect of being politically protected?
The effect of that is that as an accounting officer, there's really little you can do. You'll see when we go to question 13 how I struggled to present the report to the executive, for the executive to consider the report on his suspension.
Now, if you can recall, over the course of your tenure as city manager and Chief Mapie as chief of police, how many times have you suspended him?
Suspended chief.
Come again?
It's once. He was suspended. He's suspended. He's on his suspension.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to know how many times you've subjected him to a suspension.
3.
Yes.
It's only once.
It's only once.
Yeah, because there was concrete report and concrete evidence from the victim.
Indeed, and I do appreciate that you may have challenges in acting in the absence of concrete evidence. I'm more interested in you comparing the latest suspension and the basis and what you call concrete evidence to support the latest suspension with what is depicted in that clip. Why couldn't you suspend him there? What was missing at the time? And why didn't you exercise your power to suspend him and initiate a disciplinary process?
Thanks, Commissioner. I do not want to sound like a broken record and repeat myself of the answers I've given about that video. I've indicated that video, I only received it last night, and I indicated at the beginning of the commission that we are struggling to get information from the city. And I have also indicated that the MMC, the political head of that department, never submitted the memorandum or the issues that were raised by these police officers.
Okay, so you only learned last night that in 2020 a memorandum covering the issues that you address in part at paragraph 50.2 was submitted to the city. You only learned that last night?
Last night I got evidence of the allegations I'm making on section 50.2.
Yes, I appreciate that.
I've been knowing that there are this incident, but I do not have evidence. And I wanted to play this video to show you that indeed he defeated the ends of justice. And the officers are protesting there about the accidents.
I appreciate that you call it evidence. My question really was about when you acquired knowledge of the existence of the memorandum submitted by those members of the EMPD that we just saw on the clip to the city. When did you become aware of that particular fact? Not when did you see it actually happen on TV? When did you become aware of it?
Well, officers, informally, they would say a chief was involved in this accident, a chief was this, and there was no formal complaint. But now, since there is this commission and there is this video and also this allegation 50.2, we have gathered a lot of information and we are getting statements and police case numbers to support the notion that he has indeed defeated the end of justice.
Dr. Mashazi, there is no statement you can obtain that can help you answer my question. My question relates to when you acquired personal knowledge of the existence of the memorandum. You accept that there is no statement that can be tendered for that purpose? So can I have an answer to that question, please, if you don't mind?
Can I indicate that I've answered that question?
No, you
and
haven't.
accepted that I failed to deal with Chief in terms of his misconduct.
Is the third time you avoid that question? Do you don't intend to answer it? When you acquired knowledge of the existence of the memorandum, is it so difficult to answer or you choose not to answer it? I don't want to waste the Commissioner's time. If you don't want to answer it, please state so for the record and I'll pass on.
I'm saying I've answered that I have failed to action consequence management on the part of Chief in terms of this misconduct, and I have failed to do oversight on him.
I don't know what you just said. What you've just said, I don't know what it's responding to. I guess you wanted to address that yourself to the commissioners about that. For whatever it's worth, is on record. If you do accept responsibility in that context, what is the purpose then of bringing the allegations reflected in 50.2 to this commission, when you are fully appreciative of your own failings? But you do not disclose those failings at the time you make these allegations. It is until you are pushed, almost on the second day of your testimony, that you make the concession. Why is that?
The importance is for me, as I indicated, to support my allegations that he indeed defeated the ends of justice and he was involved in 2 accidents where he was driving under the influence of alcohol.
But that is not evidence of what you contend. That is evidence that members of EMPD protested in relation to the allegations. It's not evidence of the allegations themselves. Do you accept? And you didn't tender that for the purpose?
Yeah, thank you. Let me respond. We will submit the evidence. The evidence that will be submitting, it will be obviously the cases that we opened.
And you did speak to these cases, I think, at 50.2. You stated complaints or misconduct reports and were not acted upon or were actively suppressed were not acted upon by who? Who are you accusing of failing to act upon those?
Firstly, is IPID that is supposed to, and secondly, firstly is myself, secondly is the IPID. Because investigation was supposed to be done, proper investigation was supposed to be done by the police. And upon investigation, I should have taken a disciplinary action against him.
Sorry, I apologize. I interrupted you. I thought,
I'm done.
Okay. Technically, you're inviting the commissioners to read paragraph 50.2 thus. The complaints and the misconduct reports were not acted upon by inter alia myself. That's your complaint. And were acted, and IPID on the other hand.
Don't nod. Please say yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't want to speak louder while she's speaking. It will be as if I'm interrupting her.
I understand.
Appreciate it. Yes. Okay. So perhaps I pause there, and your response is a yes. You confirm that the statement must be read to mean complaints or misconduct reports were not acted upon by inter alia myself and IPID.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. The second half of that is your charge. They were actively suppressed by who and how?
By IPID or the law enforcement or by himself, because I never got to see any report. As the video indicated that he's been protected, I never got to see the accident report, the outcome of the accident, and the recommendation from IPID, because they always investigate police misconduct. I never got to get that report.
I appreciate that, but you're making a specific allegation to the commission, and you say these acts of misconduct were actively suppressed. When you wrote that in your statement, I would take it that you at least had a sense of who suppressed and how they suppressed. Are you able to assist the commissioners in that regard?
I'm sure my answer would be he actively suppressed that through his connections, because I never got to see the report of the accident and the outcome and the recommendation to myself to actually take action. Remember, you can't take action on the allegation that Chief was involved in an accident and you don't have anything in writing. And we do not have any report in terms of the recommendation. You see how IPID dealt with Mkhwanazi's matter. They did their own investigation and they gave us recommendation. So I expected that kind of a report that Chief was involved under the influence of alcohol and the city must take action against him. But I never got to get that report. Hence, we are saying his misconduct was actually suppressed.
Is it?
Yes, Mashazi, maybe just a correction. The testimony that we have about IPID's investigation into Brigadier Mkhwanazi is that Spies actually went and laid a criminal complaint with the police. And that then IPID took the matter over from the police. So IPID didn't just introduce itself into the Brigadier Mkhwanazi matter, or the matter didn't end up with IPID because IPID took the initiative to start an investigation. An official of the municipality went to lay a criminal charge. Now, you have your direct report accused of that in 2020 and you become aware of this. If IPID were to be involved, it was through you. You had to go and lay a criminal complaint. Now that your officers have done that, you've seen that publicly, you know the detail of it. It was your responsibility in the way that Spies did it to go to the SAPS, and then IPID would take it from there. So it's not open to you to criticize IPID that they should have investigated when the complainant would have been you and you did nothing about it. I'm just correcting that IPID becomes involved because the employer, the municipality, lays a criminal charge.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks, Commissioner. I take your point.
A difficulty I have also is you like, and I think you started saying this from yesterday already, you like saying, I did not get a report. You've said that a good few times, even this morning, I did not get a report. I don't understand that. You are the leader, you are the top administrator, you are aware of what is happening around you, even if it is at a level of allegations. I just don't understand why you would sit back and wait for a quote-unquote report. You want to comment on that?
I want to comment by saying that obviously it's like an oversight that I could have reported the case to IPID so that I can get a proper report and discipline.
And not just that. you are an administrator within the local sphere of government. You don't have to have a report from an outsider, as it were, IPID, for you to be able to act. Why should that be so? Well, now you are suggesting that for you to act, you must always get a report from IPID. That cannot be so. You are part of a sphere of government, which is autonomous. You said so yesterday. So why must you want to get something from another sphere of government? Police operated the national sphere of government. Why must you first get that before you act, get a report from IPID? I don't understand that.
Yeah, maybe I did not come out clearly in terms of the processes that before I can act against the senior manager, I must get a report.
From
Here,
whom?
this
From whom?
A complaint, a formal complaint.
At the time, in 2020, did you not become aware at the time that members of the EMPD had protested? On the day the protest took place, or at the latest, the very next day, did you not get to know that members of the EMPD had protested?
I was aware.
You were aware. What report were you waiting for then?
Remember,
Why don't you get up and go find out what exactly the protest was about and see whether there was a need for you to act or not? Why do you just sit and fold your arms for some report that must come from I don't know whom?
remember I indicated, Commissioner, that the person who took a report from the protesters was a political hit. And I have indicated that my hands are tied in terms of politicians. He promised that he's going to submit that report to the administration, of which he did not. And I want to actually maybe concede that waiting for a report did not help me, and waiting for a report made me not to act or implement consequence management from the chief of consequence management on the chief of police.
The complaint was not by politicians, so you did not have to depend on politicians to get to the bottom of what all of this was about. So you cannot blame the politicians for not having brought the memorandum to you, can you?
No, I can't.